Chapter 27. I thought you were going to stay in touch. Steve went from irritated to ecstatic in a heartbeat as he immediately recognised the voice. His heart felt as if it had stopped, and he swung round to see a familiar beauty staring at him. Isla didn't look angry, but she wasn't smiling either. If he had to find a word for it, she looked hurt. My God, Isla, I said that if I ever saw you again, I swear that was going to be the first thing I said to you. I assumed when you didn't get in touch as we arranged in New York that you'd had a change of heart. I left my number for you. Steve almost punched out the words, as we arranged. Hold on, you left your number? I asked many times and there was no number for me at reception. I was back the next week and there was nothing. Every time I go back there's still nothing, and yes, I still check. It's the first thing I do, and I look for you on all my flights, but you're never there. What about my email address and office number? I was in the US for 3 months and every day I hope to hear from you. Seriously? Yes, seriously. Isla explained about the book and the business card and how she'd left a message at the record company but couldn't remember the name of the band and sounded like a stalker, and how she'd done everything she could. Steve smiled, trying to bury a laugh that he wanted to let loose, but Isla was in full flow. He knew about the record company policy and the messages he would have disregarded had they been for anybody else. As for the business card, it was easily done. He got it and forgave her, even though there was nothing to forgive. Mostly he was sorry for all the time they'd lost. I can't believe you're here. You weren't on the flight, and yes, I checked. Like you, I always check. Coincidence finally got us. What a ridiculous set of events. Losing contact from one side would have meant that at least we still had it from the other, but for both of us to have no luck at all is crazy. I swear I left a message for you when I checked out. His excitement at seeing Isla beamed from his face. He couldn't stop grinning like an idiot. He certainly wasn't lying, and put his hands on her shoulders, staring deep into her eyes. He was conscious of rushing towards physical contact, but just couldn't help himself. Without hesitation, they embraced with the warmth they had shared in New York 6 months before. Isla didn't hold back, reciprocating his warmth, conscious that they were now far physically closer than she'd ever expected to be with Stephen Lewis again. What are you doing here? You weren't on my flight in from London. I wasn't on the London flight. I came from Miami. Now and again you get a different return, and here I am, 2 whole days in the Caribbean. Steve finally removed his arms from Isla, aware that it might be too much too soon. She paused for breath, but clearly there was so much they both still wanted to know. What about you? I wouldn't expect your band to be working here. This is a reggae island. There's not much call for your stompy Celtic stuff. What were they called again? You've clearly not been paying attention. Have you not heard how well the Cormacs are doing? And I'm not here for work. It's just me, all alone, because my boss was concerned that I was knackered and going to burn out. I'd been sent here for 2 weeks as if I'd returned from a war zone and need convalescence. She even offered to pay for someone to come with me, but that would mean I had someone I wanted to come with me. You don't? No girlfriend yet, then? No girlfriend. The girl I wanted lost my number. They simultaneously blushed, looking away before their gazes met once again with a smile. There was someone I was hanging out with now and again, but it was nothing serious. To be honest, it's run its course. If it wasn't for the fact that when I get home I'll be in the studio with the band for a few weeks and then on the road again for months, I'd do something decisive to finish it. But there's nothing to finish short of sending a text message, and I can't even be bothered to do that. You're a keeper if you want to end a relationship by text and can't even be asked to do that. Well, you're not much of a catch either, are you? Can't even hold on to a business card? Truce then, we can both agree we're losers, definitely. They looked at each other, glowing at the quick resumption of their affectionate playtime. You've just got here then? It's a shame I must leave on Friday or I'd take you to the fish fry at Oystons. It's mental and like nothing you've ever been to. You've been here a few times then? A few, but it's one of those small places you can get a vibe for quickly, and Oystons is an institution. Everyone goes. It's like Notting Hill, carnival, every weekend. You must promise me to go on Friday, even if I'll be in mid-air when you do. Well, I'm here for 2 Fridays, so I will, I promise. Isla's room key was ready, and their brief reunion needed somebody to make the next move. Would you like a drink when you've checked in? I assume Jeremy isn't here. He's not here, is he? He was only half joking, checking over his shoulder to make sure. No, there's no Jeremy. Isla paused, unsure how to say the next bit. There is a Patrick, though, back at home. It's not serious, but it would be wrong of me not to mention him after what seemed to be forming with you in New York. While internally ruined by the revelation, Steve smiled back, careful not to be too transparent and let his disappointment show. What went on in New York? 2 people met in a hotel lobby, became friends, and have looked forward to having another night out ever since. Steve thought he'd successfully fibbed indifference, but he knew he was gutted that Isla was no longer available. He'd had his chance, and fate had blown it for him. He liked this girl, and he wasn't about to give up that easily. She'd said her thing with Patrick wasn't serious, and Isla didn't seem to mind being near him again. The race was still on. Nice and easy, Steve. Nice and easy, lad. In that case, Mr. Lewis, you gorgeous smelling man, I'd love to have a drink with you. Give me 30 minutes and I'll see you there. Isla pointed at 2 empty bar stools a few yards away and picked up her bags. Steve watched her go, delighted that he was going to be busier than planned for the next 2 days. He was suddenly happier than he'd been since a morning in New York last September.